Samantha had recently adopted a retired police dog named Raven. One day, she decided to withdraw some cash from an ATM on the street. Suddenly, a grim figure appeared in front of her, and Raven's reaction was nothing short of shocking. A few months earlier, Samantha had gone through a painful breakup. With limited finances, she was forced to move into one of Detroit's most crime-ridden neighborhoods. Within just a few months, she had been robbed and burgled multiple times, leaving her deeply unsettled and constantly looking over her shoulder. Yet, she knew she had to save money before she could afford to move to a safer area. Feeling lonely and vulnerable, Samantha decided to visit a local animal shelter to adopt a kitten. She hoped a furry companion might bring some comfort. However, there were no kittens available that day. Instead, she noticed an adult German shepherd with intelligent yet deeply sad eyes staring at her through the kennel bars. A shelter worker explained that the dog, named Raven, was a retired police dog. He had been a loyal and brave partner to his officer, but was no longer fit for duty due to age and a previous injury. Raven was surrendered to the shelter, where he waited for someone to give him a second chance. Moved by his story and those soulful eyes, Samantha made an impulsive decision. Despite her financial struggles and chaotic life, she adopted Raven. The German shepherd immediately warmed up to Samantha, sensing her kind nature. He wagged his tail enthusiastically as if to assure her she had made the right choice. Having Raven by her side brought an unexpected sense of security. Walking the streets of her tough neighborhood with a large, imposing dog made Samantha feel calmer. When they arrived at her modest apartment, Raven immediately began sniffing every corner. Samantha chuckled, realizing this behavior must have come from his years of police service. Over the following weeks, Raven quickly adapted to his new environment. He became a constant companion, accompanying Samantha on walks and watching over her with a protective gaze. Their bond grew stronger each day, and Samantha often marveled at how this loyal dog had transformed her life. One day, Samantha needed to withdraw money from the nearby ATM to pay her rent. This task always made her nervous, as she had been robbed at this very ATM before. Although she reported the incident to the police, they were unable to catch the culprit. This time, however, she had Raven by her side. Samantha withdrew the money and started walking home. But as they turned a corner, 3 men in hooded sweatshirts emerged. Their faces were obscured, but their threatening body language was clear. Samantha's heart raced, and she prepared to scream for help. Before she could react, Raven stepped in front of her, growling low and menacingly. The dog's protective stance and sharp, bared teeth were enough to stop the men in their tracks. They quickly decided not to take their chances and walked away. Shaken but grateful, Samantha hurried home, showering Raven with treats and affection. "You're my guardian angel," she whispered, hugging him tightly. Raven had proven himself to be not just a pet, but a steadfast protector. A month later, Samantha needed to visit the ATM again. Her landlord insisted on cash payments for rent. With Raven beside her, she felt more confident this time. As she approached the ATM, she noticed a man standing nearby. His face was partially hidden, and his presence made her uneasy. Raven, too, seemed fixated on the man. He sniffed the air in his direction, his body tense, but not aggressive. Samantha quickly withdrew her money and turned to leave, but the man suddenly moved toward her. Before Samantha could react, Raven did something unexpected. Instead of growling or barking, he began whining and pulling at the leash, trying to get closer to the man. Samantha was confused and frightened, unsure of what was happening. Raven broke free from her grip and ran straight to the stranger. To Samantha's utter shock, Raven didn't attack the man. Instead, the dog barked happily, wagging his tail and licking the man's hands. The stranger knelt down, wrapping his arms around Raven in an emotional embrace. Realizing he had frightened her, the man quickly stood up and apologized. He introduced himself as Greg, a retired police officer, and explained that Raven had been his loyal partner for many years. Greg shared his story. After sustaining a severe injury on duty, he was forced to retire early and spent a year recovering in the hospital. During this time, Raven was placed in the shelter. Greg hadn't been able to take Raven back, and the thought of losing his partner had haunted him ever since. Now, seeing Raven by chance on the street felt like fate. Samantha, moved by the reunion, offered to let Greg visit Raven regularly. It was clear that both the man and the dog shared a deep bond. Samantha felt honored to be part of their story. Raven, more than anyone, seemed overjoyed. He had found not one, but two people who truly loved him. For Samantha, Raven wasn't just a protector. He was a reminder that even in life's toughest moments, loyalty and love can create unexpected miracles.